meeting to order for the Johnson County Solid Waste District on May 13th, 2024 at 2 p.m. Roll call, please.
Kevin Walls.
Present.
Susie Quells.
Present.
Ron West.
Present.
Brian Baird.
Present.
Mark Myers. David Lexi.
Here.
John Ditmars. Sir, you have a quorum.
I was waiting for you to say that.
I was like, I haven't looked up yet.
Okay.
No one had emailed me that they were going to be remote.
John called me about a half hour ago and told me if he needed to be, he could zoom in, but
Okay.
he said if you've got a quorum, he said I'm good.
That
So,
way we don't have to do a roll call each time.
And we knew the mayor was not going to be in attendance today.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's get her going. First thing on the agenda is approval of minutes for the March 11th, 2024 special meeting and the March 27th, 2024 special meeting.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Nope. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Motion carries. We have her in person. It will be the treasurer's report. What was that special day that you became free again? Was it the 16th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, it's the 15th, about 2
15th.
o'clock, if you want to be, yeah.
Let the record reflect she is sober.
Touche. We are looking for approval of the check register dated March 12th, 2024 to May 10th, 2024 for $77,253.38.
I have any questions?
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
We used to ask Pat a lot more questions than that. Ron, I figured you'd ask more questions than that.
Yeah, I'm going easy on her. Now, if Pat was here, it'd be a different story.
Never send Pat again.
CAC update.
We do not have a CAC member here, but I do want to say several showed up to support our events that we did for our Talks Box Saturday and our shredding event. One of them worked with Carla outside of shredding. We handed out informational bags, and two supported Tom over at the Talks Box. I will note, even though I would have done as part of my recap as well, we had an amazing both shredding and Talks Box event. So I will let you move on to the next one and expand on that.
Okay, now we'll go to the director's report.
So speaking of amazing events, we collected over 3 tons of paper on Saturday. We also had 43 people at the Talks Box for that Saturday between 9 and noon, which is huge. We normally have a pretty good showing, but even having 20, because you do have to sign up for an appointment, of course, is a big event. So having that many people, we were lucky to have the CAC on hand. I had asked them, at our first meeting of the year, if they'd be willing to, especially since it was Earth Day. It was very unique to us. It was that same weekend. We had a lot of things going on. And so they jumped on board, and I'm so thankful that they did, because we really needed all the extra hands that we could get. So it was an awesome event. We also had the library, which we had a huge showing. I had 30 people at the compost program up in Center Grove for our library event. I was there for 2 hours, just lots of questions, which we love. It's nicer than when you sit there with 3 people, which sometimes can happen at a library event. And so we have just been extremely busy, lots and lots and lots of phone calls, which we always love to answer, but it always makes us curious. We know that April is Earth Month. We know that people come out of the woodwork and they, start working on their homes and start thinking about the environment. But it always never ceases to amaze me that at some point you're like, wait, these are even more new people. So where are they coming from? How are they hearing about us? And we do ask those questions. And so interestingly enough, because we were also collecting the glasses, Eclipse glasses, we have taken in well over 80,000 Eclipse glasses, and we've turned away about 60,000 because we wanted people to understand that we were not the clearinghouse for all the businesses that also ordered, and people calling us from across the country, which was insane. So Carla did make a list of the out of state that we received. So we received glasses from Louisville, Kentucky, Murray, Kentucky, California.
California?
Yes, Holland, Michigan, Madison, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Surprise, Arizona, and Lexington, Kentucky. Now, those are the ones that had return addresses. Some of them had no return addresses. So goodness knows all the other locations. Needless to say, it was one of those things that I don't know if we could have done it any differently, and I don't know if we would have done it any differently, but I don't know if it was the spot on Fox 59, if it was just a quick Google search. We've always joked before that we actually don't want to be so high up on the Google list, but somehow we always remain there. But yes, it was insane. So we are hoping that the Astronomers Without Borders can get these glasses moved out of our facility before we have to move out of our facility ourselves. We have told them that there is a deadline in place, and if that deadline can't be met, we will make sure that the glasses get recycled, but we'll do the best that we can to get them into other hands. Right now, the group that was also collecting them to move to South America for their eclipse has closed. They're no longer accepting the glasses, and we would have too many to move for them anyways. So Astronomers Without Borders was recognized that this was going to happen, but they're still working on the money piece. And we've been trying to explain to people, those of them that thought maybe we would give them a tax write-off for donating their glasses to us, that we're helping them, they're not helping us, because we could be in a situation where we are ultimately dealing with the recycling of these glasses and possibly the shipping, some of the shipping cost of them as well. So again, I wouldn't change a thing, but it is amazing. I can tell you that pretty much all of central Indiana at some point called us to ask if we could take their glasses. I mean, every police department, every city, I'm like, we are a county organization, So yeah, we gave them options, but next time, which we'll all be long gone, I should write a little memo about what they should look at, because I'm sure we're still gonna need glasses. I don't think that our eyes will have adjusted that much. So, but hey, we're out there. We've done a lot for the community when it comes to eclipse glasses. So that was just kind of a culmination of a lot of our April events. We do have a rain barrel class coming up. That has once again, I posted it on Friday afternoon. I kind of purposely do it during a slower time because I know how popular this program is. Within 10 minutes of posting, I had already had 2 people signed up. I'm pretty sure we're completely booked from this weekend. It's awesome. It's an awesome program. We love doing it. It's just not always easy to get a hold of the barrels. So when we can get a hold of them, we do hold on to them. So we are going to have 20 at this class, and we'll see if we can get enough to do another class as well. But that will be at the end of this month. So lots of exciting things going on. We did switch to our summer hours starting May 1st instead of after Labor Day this year, in hopes to give people a little extra time on our Thursdays. So once again, that is adding Thursdays from 10 to 2 through August. And we will reevaluate at the end of August. If we still have all the employees that we have today, we should be able to continue with that program. If we don't, we will of course reevaluate that as well. I do know I have my TalksBox employee going on medical leave toward the end of September, and I will be going to Europe toward the end of September, so we will have to see how we can work all of those programs together. But we are hoping, fingers crossed, that we can keep with that 10 to 2 on Thursdays even after the fact, but we did announce it initially as summer hours. Any questions before I move on to plastics?
Last Tuesday, had a gentleman approached me about, up in White River Township, about recycling, offering some recycling. I know we used to do it at Emmanuel, but is there any plans to ever try to do anything like that up there again? Or?
I mean, we can't do drop-off locations. If somebody wants to have a manned site and has land, we could look at it. Did this gentleman say that he spoke to us by any chance?
He may have, because this went on for about 15 minutes, and I don't actually recall verbatim.
Yeah, he also
Let's see,
thinks that
last
he
Tuesday.
pays us $150 a year. And so we went, cause I thought, geez, if everybody paid us $150 a year, I would be a very happy person. So this
Yeah.
guy must have quite the home. And we found out that he pays us $11 a year because we went and got all the tax information. And I think part of his consternation has more to do with the yellow and green bins that have been removed, not just our removal of, you know, a manual, because we haven't had a manual for years and
Yeah.
years and years. So, you know, Commissioner West, one of the things that we've said, and I've advocated for this before and spoken about it, the reality is that several townships in Ohio do come together and have trash and recycling for their township. You know, it is something that can be done.
Yeah.
It's not unprecedented. It does happen, and this is a community of what, 40,000 plus residents? But that's a much greater than, you know, than something that we have available in our budgets.
If the township trustee, as an example, was a drop-off location, would they be able then to get that material to you for,
We couldn't take it for recycling.
you couldn't?
No, it would have, you
I'm
would have.
thinking more paper and cardboard.
No, I mean, not at the volumes that he's going to see. I mean, again, you have to
Yeah.
remember that that community is a community that is one, if you were to put them and make them a town, would be rival.
Yeah, I understand all that. I'm thinking more, so you're not making any money with paper and cardboard.
No, remember, we can't compete with any of our private companies. So we can't, you know, the reason why we're able to do that in Franklin is because those communities can't place bins, you know, these routes, you know, they don't have, we go into their business, we physically remove that cardboard, and then we bring it back to our location. We are not putting repositories for them to be collected into large bins to then be processed by us, which we don't even have, I mean, the trucks or anything like that. So,
As an aside, my suspicion, don't know your circumstance, but my suspicion is the school has removed many of those. Because quite frankly, they became dumpsters for everyone. And, the cost that was passed on to the school, because we still had to have them pulled, and they usually were trash as
Yeah.
opposed to recycling. And frankly, being a resident of White River Township, you have recycling available from every hauler there. It's down in the southern parts of the counties, maybe they don't, but it's there if you're willing
Yeah.
to pay for it. And maybe that's the complaint.
I don't know the circumstance. I
Yeah,
just
yeah, but
thought I'd ask out of
the school did
curiosity.
move them, yeah, the school did move
I
them.
did have one thing on the expenses I forgot to mention. Stickers and more at $1,911. I was curious as what kind of stickers those were and more.
stickers and more, Carla, that's you.
Stickers and more, that is promotional items that we used for,
Earth Day.
Earth Day.
What is it?
Earth Day promotional items.
For
Oh, okay.
Earth Day.
I was
It
thinking
was-
stickers, you're sticking them on something. Okay,
No,
that's
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
just
the
curious.
more part that we did. Those are actually the library bags that we do where we pass out all that information to the library and then
Yeah.
they, you know.
all. Okay, thank you.
I have the invoice.
Yeah. I just realized that, and you just kind of hit the nail on the head, Commissioner, when we're talking about this, and I was remiss from it being included directly on the director's report. But as we were talking about, and technically I guess this could fall under new business, but as we're thinking about this new building, I really think the opportunity is there for us not to call it a recycling center. Now that we're bringing everything into one location. We currently have a multitude of locations, right? So this is why we have the Talks box. We try and name things so that people understand and can affiliate. Now we're all going to be under one roof. So for me, I think it's a good course of action to look at it being called an environmental center or something that incorporates more than just recycling. Because you will obviously, maybe you don't recycle, or maybe you receive your recycling at home, but then you realize I'm moving out and I have to dispose of all these chemicals, your fertilizers, all these things. So you're coming to our building in order to do that. And if you are thinking recycling center, that's what you're thinking. You're not thinking of all the other pieces that we provide for the county. So I would like, you know, as we're talking about what we're looking at and naming the building, personally, I think it's a great opportunity for us to kind of drop the only recycling, because again, you know, this gentleman's thinking, well, I can't recycle right in my backyard, which as Lynn pointed out, he probably can, but there's a charge, but there's so many other things that we also still provide to that resident. And so, you know, he may have been, I happen to know he kind of was one of the people that were impacted by the tornadoes. You know, we helped to get bins placed, we helped to make sure those things happen. So there's so many other pieces that we do, and I have no problem. If we could provide recycling for everybody in this county, I would be one happy girl. I mean, we would have the availability of doing something that, you know, many people don't have, but we can't, you know, well, financially, we certainly can't, but there's many things that kind of tie our hands to that. So I would just, as we're moving forward and thinking about the naming of the building, that is something that I would like for you all to keep in mind.
I'm not sure about that comment. If we could be recycling for the entire county, you are, aren't you?
Right, no, but I mean, if I could provide it right at their home,
Curbside.
a curbside, I would be, you know,
Yeah, it was just the way it.
Yeah,
the way
no,
you
no,
said
I
it. It was like
definitely-
you were singling out a certain section of the county and at the deterrence of the other parts.
oh no, it's just that they do have the benefit of, you know, 3 different providers that will provide them
Yeah.
a subscription service. Where down in Trafalgar and Edinburgh and, you know, they can't get it at all, so.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that environmental would indicate exactly what your purpose is. I think recycling is more fitting for what you're doing. I mean, environmental, I get into that, you know, I'm getting into the air we breathe and the water we drink and so on and so forth, which is.
But that is,
much-
I mean, that's exactly what the
Well,
Tox
but
box.
it's much more encompassing than what your service is.
No, but our service does do that. I mean, our service does deal with air. I mean, I got a phone call when that fire was going on in Franklin as to how to handle all of those materials. When we have a storm, you know, we are there a part of it. When we, you know, all of the materials that we're taking in the Tox box, the reason why we do that is because of the impact on our waterways and if there's a fire, the inhalation piece of that. So that's the thing, is that we are so much greater than just recycling. Recycling is a piece of what we do.
Well, I recall we first started out as waste management.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
I mean, which was more broad, but nobody they thought that was a dump.
Yeah.
So we went to recycling, so maybe,
Well, we
And
can
I'm not
name it
suggesting
somewhere
changing the name. I'm
Mark
not-
Myers Memorial Dump. He's not here.
Actually, I really like the MMMD, so that works. I mean, you know, yeah. And by all means, I'm not suggesting we change the district's name. We've already.
well, it's
you know,
created by statute. so you
Yeah, I
can't-
mean, I'm suggesting the opportunity on the building to be more than, because we are so much more than just recycling. So,
Jesse, why don't you just put together some names that you're thinking of and maybe email them out to everybody and let the board look at some of this and
okay,
It's almost
we'll
like a
either
branding,
accept or,
it's almost like a branding strategy, really.
Right.
so you can look at it and we can talk about it a little bit in depth, so.
and just the reason why I put in plastic collections across the state is, I'm sure because of it being Earth Month, there was a lot of information being put out there about whether plastics are recycled, how they're recycled. CBS actually did an amazing story about the plastic bags that are collected at Walmart and Target and all of those things. I do want to reiterate 2 things. Indiana may not be the most environmentally friendly state there is, but it is a fantastic manufacturing and industrial state. And this state has a lot of recycling manufacturers in it. And so plastic bags, a lot of them that are actually collected within this state specifically, but certainly all throughout the Midwest, actually go to one of the largest plastic bag recyclers in the country, and that's out of Seymour, Indiana. We've had the opportunity to visit their site, and they truly do process that right into new bags. You also have Trex, and there's another company that has completely slipped my mind, but they are both out of Ohio. Both of them take plastic bags to actually, create your lumber, create your benches, do a multitude of things, and they are truly coming from plastic bags. The other thing is you have Brightmark out of Ashley, Indiana, that is using a technology that actually takes all of those plastics that we don't recycle easily. So I hate to use ones and twos because people talk about that a lot, but truly that is a number of a plastic, right? It's not just, oh, this means it can be recycled because it's sitting in a triangle. That triangle with a number actually tells you the type of plastic it is. Well, it is easy for us to find an outlet for plastics ones and twos, which we now refer to as jugs, tubs, bottles, because the imagery helps people to know and understand what they can recycle better. But they take the 3 through 7s and they actually move that material, whether it be wrap, whether it be styrofoam, whether it be your plastics from the back of your television, any and all things, and it is moved and made into a chemical which can then be used for both diesel and automotive fuels. And this is going on in Ashley, Indiana. We have Republic about to go online within the next year with a major recycling facility outside of Indianapolis to also focus on those materials as well. So we have lots of opportunity in Indiana, and I hope as we continue to move into our facility and maybe have a little bit more space, that we'll actually have more opportunity to collect more of these plastics in an economical way to ensure that they are actually being recycled or reused or repurposed into these different ways. So Recycle Force, right out of Indianapolis, they are actually starting to do the styrofoam recycling because they're working out of Ashley. And so us paying Recycle Force to pick up is a much shorter trek than us trying to get material to Ashley, Indiana. I imagine more of those partnerships will come online as the business model allows it to. So the prospects are exciting as long as we can get people to do it. And so we are really excited about the opportunities, but there's always naysayers. I'm actually one of them. So I do a lot of research when I am looking at things, or certainly before I speak on them as well, to make sure that we are having our end material go where we know it's going and how it's being used, because that's an important piece of what we do. Because accountability, whether we like it or not, solid waste districts can be accountable, especially when it comes to the e-waste and when it comes to batteries and all of those things. So you'll also see an influx in lithium batteries. I'm about to speak to the LEPC about that on Thursday. I really think we need a different direction in how we're handling this, because the fact is that more and more and more of us are dealing with these lithium batteries. And the laws require them to be held onto. Well, the fire department isn't in a position to hold on to them. We're not in a position to hold on to them. So somebody needs to end up in that position. So we need to talk about what that looks like as we're moving on. Fort Wayne has set up itself as a great example with their solid waste district, with their LEPC working together. And I hope to be able to emulate that here, but also use the knowledge base. Greenwood has an amazing task force for that on their fire department already. So how can we work together as a collective to make sure that these materials are being handled safely? Literally had the conversation out of Fort Wayne, and we had the fire marshal from White River on the phone asking us, because he was dealing with a gentleman who picked up a small appliance who had put out the fire twice himself and decided to call in on the third time. This is what we deal with every day. And he was driving down our roads. This is what we deal with every day. So the education is normally where we come in, and that's obviously, first and foremost into how we handle things is the education, but we really need to have a plan in place so that, we don't fall behind on that. Our blessing is we literally have a national company in our backyard in Greenwood that handles all this material. The negative is it's very, very costly to handle this material. So that's my report.
Thank you, Jesse. Anybody got any questions?
Good report.
You mentioned lithium. Do they handle lead acid? batteries also?
Yeah, we handle it, we handle all that.
No, I mean the company of Greenwood you mentioned?
No. No,
Just
we
Lithium
would
Springs?
handle that.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. What company is that?
Lighting resources.
Lighting?
Yes. The fire department found out about them several years ago when there was a major battery fire in their, in their semi-storage facility. So, tier 2 reporting is only as good as understanding and knowing what businesses are in there. And that's one of the things is that should our tier 2 reporting deal with lithium batteries? When the reality is everybody has them in their warehouses, everybody, but it's not documented anywhere.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you. The thing we've all been waiting for is the legal report.
Well, thank you, sir, but I don't have anything new, so I would like to cede my time to the
Mr. Jacob?
gentleman from the north, the statesman from the north, as he's going to focus on the more important issues of where are we going to live. So,
Nothing is more important than what Lynn Gray has to
I'd
say.
love
So,
Hey Jacob, pull that microphone up a little bit. I guess they're working, I don't know.
you want me to speak a little louder? I can.
Yeah, you can do that too.
All right,
There you
I'm not too far away from you
you go.
guys, so. All right, well, I actually don't have too much, really just a status update for everyone. And just to let you know, we received the 100% CD, 100% construction documents from the architect May 1. With those documents, along with some other construction documents and bid documents received from the architect, we had worked together, our office worked with them, had an initial notice of bids, or notice to bidders rather, published last week. Another notice to bidders will be published this week, I think tomorrow or Wednesday, I can't remember. It's got to be 7 days apart according to Indiana code. So we're moving forward with accepting bids. The pre-bid conference, which will be a meeting between the architect, I don't think Commissioner Walls will be there, is not required to be, but that will be May 28th, where we will have ideally a good idea of who all will be actually bidding the project. I can't anticipate who will show up, but those who certainly will bid will show up. So we'll have a better idea of how many potential bidders we could have at the end of this month. The first item that I need from you all, and really it's just Commissioner Walls if we want to do it this way, we had set the last day to receive bids and the bid openings for June 10th at 10 a.m. We had discussed that. Now that can be either in front of the entire board or it can be in front of the bid opening committee, which is what we formed a couple months ago now, which I think consisted of Commissioner Walls, Susie, and I think Carla. And we can do it that way, or you guys can all show up. So whatever you guys want. If you're that interested in coming and just helping Commissioner Walls open the bid packets and read them aloud, you're more than welcome to. I don't see
Well,
any
Ms.
reason.
Gray will probably read those aloud. She'll be the one opening them.
do you want me to? That's
Yes,
fine.
ma'am.
Okay. Well, she'll bring her Swiss Army knife to help open the packets then, and
Make sure the packets are complete.
make sure they're complete, or I can make sure they're complete.
Yeah,
I can be
usually
there.
what we do, we open them, announce the number, and then hand them over for review to see if they're responsive and responsible is usually how I've done it
Yep.
in the past.
And so the same.
We usually just make sure all the pre-paperwork is filled out properly.
So the same day we do that, we'll have to turn around to bond counsel and say, look, we received 3 bids,
Here's what it
3.2,
is.
3.5, and 3.8. That will set our bond principal amount. And we have discussed that, I think, privately and probably not openly, but the principal amount, if you remember, we initially bonded was 3.3. There were some issues with some site, dirt work, I suppose is what
I
you
won't be
call it.
mean and say who created some headaches for us, but
Could be me.
No, it's not you. Maybe one of your employers.
Me.
The long short of it is, it's anticipated that the cost of the project will exceed 3.3, which is what we initially thought. I've spoken with bond counsel, and he can increase the principal amount, so money available to us, to 3.8, and that would be the maximum amount he feels comfortable bonding. If the bids happen to come in and they're above 3.8, we would have to have another notice of hearing and essentially pass the resolutions that we passed a month ago. And that's another conversation that we need to have probably separately at this point.
Well, you're not, the bids aren't gonna move that much. I mean, we've got some alternates. I mean, Wes and I, there's some alternates in this package that we can kind of manipulate the end number, what we wanna do with it. But I don't think there's anything that's, if it comes in way over, there's not anything really huge, substantial that we can pull out of that at that time. I mean, we got some markers in there that we can play with, but it's kind of a wait and see game. I don't really want to guess anymore because I was wrong. So we're just going to have to probably wait and see and drop back and punt or move forward. So we'll see you on June 10th,
What time is that bid openings?
10 a.m. I
10 a.m.
thought.
10 a.m.
So I guess, Jacob, what I heard you ask this board was, did they want to continue with the bid opening committee, or did they want to include the whole board?
Correct.
I think that's the question.
June 10th. Hold on just a second. We might.
Commissioner meeting.
Okay, we have a commissioner meeting at 10 a.m.
You want to do
All right,
it before your meeting?
that's fine.
We can receive them at 10 a.m., but we would schedule the opening for later. How's that?
Same day?
Same day. Yeah, we can do same day. We can just move.
Do you just want to do it at the conclusion of the commissioners meeting? I can't remember how long your meetings go.
We don't ever, really, we don't know.
We'll have an admin, I'm sure, after.
Yeah, I would say at 11:30, we're usually done.
We can be done, and that'll just.
We can be done, we can
Us under a timeframe.
redo that, but we can open them at 11:30.
We had anticipated that Jacob was handling this process, but if you want me to be there, I'll be there too. But-
Okay, well, Jay can handle it if you don't want to be there. That'll be fine. We'll just we'll receive by 10 and we'll open at 11:30.
And then the question, I think that
Still, yeah.
we're still
Go
waiting
ahead,
for,
Lynn.
do you want to just use your bid opening committee, or do you want to use the full board?
I don't feel the need to be there. It's in good hands.
You okay,
You're gonna
Brian?
make
You want
the
to be
full-
here?
Ultimate
You'll be here
decision.
anyway if we
We'll
need
be
something.
here
but-
anyway, so we can.
Yeah.
So
So
just,
you'll be here, I'll be here, Carl will be here, and Wes will be here,
that answer your question?
and Jacob will
good.
be here.
Okay.
Clear as mud.
We had set then, following the bid opening committee at June 10th. I think Wes, you need, about a week or so to review things? Week to 10?
No more.
So we can either set a special meeting of the entire board towards the middle or end of June to then actually award the project, or we can just keep the July 8th regular meeting of this board on the calendar and award it at that time. Following an award, a notice to proceed would then be dispatched 7 to 10 days later, depending on when the contract documents are signed.
My preference would be mid-June, have a special quick meeting, award the bid, just have to have a quorum, because we're pushing time already anyway, so a couple, 3 weeks is probably gonna make a difference, so.
You don't have much time to waste,
No,
given the end of the lease and the other.
the lease end is April 30th, I pulled it to make sure.
Yeah, I actually meant to tell you that this was our last month, it just went up to 8,380
Right.
starting today.
And pursuant to the terms of it, if we are not vacating by written consent with the landlord, we can continue under the same amount, but them having written consent is probably unlikely. If we go past 2 months without the written consent, the rent increases by 150%. So it's pretty,
I
Okay.
can be here in mid-June
pretty onerous, pretty
for
onerous, so.
that. I can
what?
do mid-June.
So since you said special meeting, would it be most productive to schedule it now, or would it be most productive to?
I think we ought to schedule it now, if I can look at their calendars.
Well, you have the Zoom capability, David, if you need,
Yeah.
that works better for
Well, I
you.
can make it, it's fine. I'm okay in June.
So you're looking at the week, June 8th,
10th is when we open,
June 17th?
17th, we
Yep.
get 17th.
Correct.
Somebody look like is, oh, never mind, I'm not gonna say it.
Do 2 PM again, or?
Yeah, whatever works, 2 PM work better.
Yeah, I like the afternoon.
Okay. Let's do the 19th. Wednesday. 2 o'clock.
That's fine.
I'll be celebrating Juneteenth, but I can
I was
come.
gonna say that.
I'll be in Moulsard, Indiana, Southern District meeting.
Okay, you'll be out, so there's one, I'll make Ditmers be here, Mark might be here, we'll have enough
For
people
some
here.
reason, I've got us having a meeting on the 17th. We not?
Got a what?
So it must be the 17th.
You'll be all right.
Well, good, I'll get that off my calendar.
Yeah, we don't have solid waste on 17th currently.
Yeah.
No, all right, June 19th, 2 PM,
What? We don't have it.
June 19th, what time?
2.
2?
You have to publish notice of a special meeting.
I'll take care of it.
Thank you.
That's it.
Everybody good? Questions? We're good.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. He took care of the bid committee. Think anybody else? We've got public comment. We'll take numbers, please. Okay, I hear no public comment. Just need one more thing in this meeting and it'll be done.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you. Second.
The first and the second, we are adjourned. Thank you.